Okay, so here we are again. I know I wasn't on for a while. Been busy with stuff. So let's see what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna briefly cover what I'm doing now. So I bought a new tray. It's not new anymore. And I'm just gonna mix up some paints, which I'm hoping are gonna give me what I want to achieve today. Well, and if not, that's okay too. That's my fourth palette that I've made, and I'm just briefly gonna say what I have. I have lemon yellow, yellow ochre, what's this? Deep yellow, olive green, yellow, burnt, raw umber, burnt umber, and burnt sienna. So we're going for a unified palette. I actually bought the video thing for my screen, but I'm not gonna use it because it spends a lot of battery and it lags. So I'm just gonna occasionally take a look and see if someone commented anything. And we are gonna make a palette now. Oh yeah, and we have Carmen, which I'm gonna use to unify the palette. I usually do it with some of the brown hues, either like burnt sienna or raw sienna, but I want to see what Carmen is gonna do for me. So let's go. And there's no order for me in which I do this. I just start and see where it takes me. And I was thinking about contrast today. I was thinking about how I want to make it unified, but I also want to make it have a contrast, which I can achieve by adding more dark. So I'm just going to go ahead and add more dark. And we're going to see what we're going to do. I'm also gonna be live on YouTube tomorrow. If you want to support, you can subscribe through the link in bio. Now, I don't want this lemon yellow to be too much. Hey everyone, so I'm just making a palette. I'm about to paint in like 5 minutes. Maybe I should wait for you to join and then explain, but you know, I'm gonna explain it again. I like to explain it at the beginning of the video so it stays like recorded, because I download that video and put it on again on YouTube. So we basically have a couple of colors here which I'm gonna unify with Carmen. I usually unify with burnt sienna or raw sienna to make it look more like traditional, but today we're gonna do this. So, and we're gonna try to achieve some form of, let's say, luminism. I'm still working on those to like mentally try to figure out which is which. I kind of know when I see it, but when I do it, I'm kind of not certain all the time. And I recently started looking at modern pictorialism. And I think it's visible in my recent works because it's so ethereal, it's so fresh. It's photos, it's photography. But I'm in a Facebook group and like it's achieved with layering, and I don't know how they do it. I mean, I suck at photography, but it's really, really unique. I don't know when the movement started. If it's even, I'm guessing it is a movement, so I don't know. But it's really, really refreshing to see something like that. It's like, you should check it out. Just type in like pictorialism and I don't even know. So, okay, so we did that. So I have lemon yellow, yellow ochre, yellow, deep yellow. Let me see. Deep yellow, burnt sienna, raw sienna, and some umber or something. Olive green and carmine. And I'm just gonna try to unify the palette with that. I'm just taking a look, okay. Unifying a palette, you kind of make all the hues closer together, and I already did it in a couple of my works and I love the result, so I'm just gonna do that again and I'm gonna see where it takes me. And I also started experimenting with adding more linseed oil to my works, which make it they make it like, I can't even explain. It looks like it's like rain poured on the paint, and you can manipulate the paint better, but it's also kind of see-through. I did it in Bloody Winter and I did it in that video I posted that when they asked me to paint something in purple, and that's why it's not like fully purple, it's more lilac or lavender something. But it started off purple and then I just decided I'm gonna dilute it with more oil, and it drips down as you paint. It actually drips down. So it's an interesting way to achieve stuff. And it kind of looks like pictorialism a little. What did I want to say? Yeah, when you unify your palette, you don't actually have to do it for every color that you have. If you want, you can leave some and that can be your accent. But I'm gonna do it for every, and maybe use some as an accent or carmine on its own. And you just visualize what you want, and then you decide like how much of the thing that you use to unify are you gonna use to add to each. So obviously we're not gonna add too much of it in yellow, but we can add more in the brownish colors. Okay, so I think that's it. I have my oil ready, and we are gonna go and do that. So let's see what we do. Maybe I use a spatula. So I usually have no plan when I want to do something. There's no like an image in my mind usually of what I want to achieve. When I have texture, I just let the texture guide me, and when I don't, I let the color guide me. So we have some brushes. Okay. And I wish I had a studio, but I don't. So it is what it is. This is also my working desk. So. And this somehow is not flat for some reason. So gotta fix that. Okay. Let's see. Maybe we use these. I usually do all this before the live, so I don't waste people's time, but it just happened today that I'm gonna prepare fully before I join. So I sometimes put gesso on the canvas beforehand. Usually when I want to do like texture, I do acrylic and then I do gesso, but now we're gonna do on a fresh canvas. Let's see what we have. We have 30 by 40 centimeter canvas. This is a 3D canvas, so we're probably gonna paint the edges too. It is probably gonna go in the frame that I have custom made and custom painted. So let me see. Okay, this should be fine. Okay. I usually put these, but with these canvases it pierces through. So it pierces all the way down and up and all to all sides. So I'm thinking of not using them. And since I paint in oil, we're not gonna wet the canvas. We're not gonna do anything. This should be triple primed. So let's see. I wish this was 50 by 70 centimeters, because then I would have more space to go up top, but this is what I got on discount. So let me see. I'm gonna use a larger brush from our sky. Maybe I could add some ultramarine. Yeah, it's gonna make a purple though. It's gonna make a purple. I have something here that I might use for this guy. So let's see. It's gonna look like shit at the beginning. It always does. But we're gonna blend it all up. It's gonna be fun. So paintings have like that phase when you start working with them, when they literally look like shit. And you can go in and you'll be like, what did I do wrong? Nothing. You just move on. You didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing wrong. Everything is fine. If I paint the edges now, I'm not gonna be able to hold it after, so that's gonna be tricky to reveal. So there's not a lot of thought process going on, as you can see. That's gonna start when we kind of sort some things here. And we can add a little bit of pure carbon. Yeah, that's gonna look nice. Just gotta check if someone said anything, so. And I'm not gonna add any linseed oil or any oils now. It's just gonna blend real fast. Yeah, I think I'm gonna add a little bit of this gray that I have here. And what I like to do, that's visible now here, what I like to do is leave the color not fully mixed in, and that way you get variety when you work. It's just, I don't know, just an idea that I had, because why would you have to blend everything? Is it visible? Okay. Let's see. So I usually tend to have my sunsets in the center or on the left. I'm just a leftish, so I guess it's easier. I don't know if it streams the opposite way. I have no idea. So It kind of makes sense to put it there. I don't know. Let's blend. Let's see where we are at. So tonight there's like no specific emotion that I want to like bring in. I want to see what this color palette is gonna do for me. I'm gonna dip it in oil just lightly. Yeah, I wanted to avoid putting it in oil too much because it's gonna dry for a long time. And what I also like to do is I like to have my brushes move and make shapes for me. So you kind of don't have to think when you start. But yeah, I'm gonna go against my better judgment today, and I'm gonna add more oil. Okay, that's better. Yeah, I'm gonna rinse it. I'm gonna let it slide. Let's see what it does. I feel I'm fairly good with browns and like those vivid colors, yellows, stuff. I don't like painting sea. I don't like painting with blue. It's just I don't think I can do that color any good. Yeah, we're just gonna let this. We're gonna follow what the canvas wants us to follow. And I'm thinking if I should leave. No, probably not. I'm gonna blend it further, but this brush is soaked up now, so I'm not gonna. And usually when you blend, you would blend from the lightest to the darkest, but here we are. So let's see what I'll get if I wash it off a bit more. I could use another tray, but I don't have it, so I'm just gonna. Should work. I'm gonna angle the palette so it stays there. Should work. I'm just gonna take it. I'm just gonna. You can use a brush to even wipe things away in the opposite direction. Just get some flow. We could maybe benefit from a bit more red on top, but we can add it after. We don't have to add it now. And if you switch hands, I promise you're gonna unlock some new stuff in your head. It's just gonna make you think differently and maybe see different things. They also say you can sometimes flip the canvas upside down, and I plan to do that when I start learning portraits. I'm probably not gonna stream that because that's gonna be a mess, but yeah, just do whatever you want. It's the freedom. I really hope I don't sound too much like Bob Ross. I don't. That's not my intention. Anyway, we are probably gonna use pure yellow. Also, the one we messed up with Carmen, but we're probably gonna use pure yellow too. And what I like about this, now I guarantee you are not the one who invented like just splashing oil, pure oil on the canvas. I like that it's see-through. I like that you can kind of see the movements, but you gotta dry it flat. If you straighten that up, it's gonna be a mess. So you gotta dry it flat, and it's gonna dry for a long time. I have my AC on dry actually to try to speed the process. Nope, that's not gonna. So this is where we're gonna have our sunset, and we want the sunset to be the brightest. So I'm not gonna mess it anymore with this brush. I'm gonna cover my other sections, maybe include some red. And when I paint with oils, they used to tell me, I got really scared actually to paint with oils. Because I asked, I'm a member of a Facebook group and they're like really supportive, and one day I decide to bite the bullet and I go like, okay, whoever has the experience, tell me what it's like to paint in oil. And like they told me all sorts of stuff. And I freaked out. It was a mess, and I thought to myself, I'm never gonna paint oils ever. But, you know, you find your way. If you want something, you find your way. And I also like the challenge. I know it's kind of the wrong approach. I also like the challenge of painting everything you have with one brush. You should vary the brush. You should use different sizes of brushes. You should use different like types and softness. This is super soft, as you can see. This is harsh. I think it's natural here. I don't know. I get my brushes from Temu anyway. So, and you should vary. You should vary the size. You should vary the type. You should vary the shape. But I kind of like to see what one brush can give me. And you can easily, with oils, you can easily get in and change it. You can clean it off. You can wipe it off. With acrylics, I couldn't do that. Acrylics are like messy, so messy for me. And I can't stand them anymore. And I'm never probably gonna go back to acrylics again. So now we're just looking for shapes. I'm gonna add a little bit more oil. And we want it to be fluid. This is an abstract landscape. It doesn't have to be. So we're just looking for movement. We're looking for something that we can use. Let's see what it gives us. And overall, I like to follow the rule. I always say it, but I never know who's new and who's listening to me. From the new folks. That the distance is painted flat with moves like this because it's further away. And the closer you get, the more vertical moves you want to make. So we're just gonna define where we want stuff to be. And we're gonna go back to the sky with a different brush. So we are gonna go back to the sky and just vary a little. And we don't actually have to have the sunset defined. So we are gonna blend now. I still want to have that section blended. So the sky moves in this way. If you want to create distance, you have to have like brief, short strokes of light. The more up your eye goes, the bigger the movements can be. So we're just gonna, I'm probably gonna have a bush around here. Nevertheless, let me blend that up. And then we're gonna bring in whatever we need. And you can also blend in by following the general idea of how you want the clouds to move. If you want the clouds to move this way, you blend them this way or this way. So from light to dark. And you're just gonna go like this. Let's say that we want our clouds to do that. This is a nice moment here that we have. So we can guide them. I'm just wiping off the excess oil. We can guide them in or out. And I like that this brush, I actually just washed it, but it still has like separate bristles. But I like what it can do for me, so I'm gonna leave it. So you basically use the cards you're dealt. I love this so far. I know there's glare, probably. I bet there's glare, but and you can also make a separation of how the sky is gonna behave. So you don't have to, this here is fine. We don't mind a little bit of separation here. I'm just gonna try to make it happen, and even if it doesn't, that's fine. Oil requires that you're gentle, which I don't think a lot of people mention, but oil requires that you are so gentle with your brush, so tender. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna leave the sky as it is. Maybe, let's see, I didn't use this. Okay, so this is, no, I did. Okay, it's not that messed up. I'm gonna use this one to create a separation, just gently, because I want to melt the movement into the sky. Now I know a lot of this is not visible in the video, but I promise you it's there. And I love how when you soak up in oil, you can actually like take away the pieces you don't like. I think it's gonna be magical. I like it. It's starting to slide down here. I can see it, so I have to hurry up, which I wanted to avoid with painting with oils, because you don't have to hurry up, but I should hurry up. And here in the distance, it's sliding. But you know, you work on it until you put it to rest. And there's here. And here's gone. So that's nice. Okay. And it's sliding over here as well. So that's the magical voil. You practically get to do whatever you want, which is awesome. We are gonna move to the front now. So we're not gonna be using any of the round brushes we have. I want to try something else. Let me just take a look. Okay. I had a great brush. It's now gone. It's retired. So I'm gonna take the olive green that we had. Now it's time to define the edge. I'm just gonna go ahead. Mix that edge in. It's not gonna stick a lot because we filled it with oil, but I'm gonna do my best to have it. And what I also like to do, which you're gonna see in a minute, let me just define some shapes. I like to blend the distant section, although in this specific example it's actually nice to have it contrast. Okay, let's see what it's gonna do. Just gently, because it is distant, and we can maybe even raise it a little, you know. I want to melt it in the distance. I want to. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think this is enough. I'm not gonna blend anymore. I want to take a brush and fill it up with some random paint. And I want to see what that's going to do. So we're going to shape grass further a bit later. And we're going to shape it quite easily. So just give me a minute. Just checking. Okay. So we're just gonna have a bit of fun. Do I make this gotta blend it again? It's sliding down, but it's not that bad, but it's okay. Now, yeah, I guess it could. Let's see. And if we want to define where our water is gonna be, let me just go take a paper towel, just a minute. We can do that in several ways. I didn't want to add white. So there's no white and there's no black. Okay, let's just get the darkest thing that we have. And we're gonna make an edge. It's kind of already there. Just gonna load the brush and I'm gonna make an edge. And I'm thinking I should use a smaller brush, most likely. Yes, that's a good idea. So let's use this one. And you have to sort the water first, because if you don't, you're gonna mess up the edge. Okay, just a second. Let's do this. Yeah, nice little kind of a lake or some water surface. And we are gonna add a little bit of red. And we're gonna take off some of the yellow. So do you now see what I mean with the unified palette? It all looks like it's made with a similar color. And Carmen didn't disappoint. Now my hands are super shaky, but we're gonna see what we're gonna do. I usually sit and I usually lean, which today is not gonna be the case, so. Let's see. And we can add a little bit of grass in there. And the catch is that there's no fear. I don't think I've ever had that, like, oh my god, you're gonna like mess up a canvas. Maybe once or twice, but you know, it passes nicely. It passes nicely as soon as you like start. Okay, yeah, I'm getting glare, which means I have no idea what I'm doing, but just see if we can get it to behave. Okay, let's sort that out. No, I don't like it now. Yeah, I definitely don't want it like that. So let me just blend this up a little bit. Let's see what it does. Just gonna. And the size of your movements, which are gonna like transpire onto the canvas, is going to help define how far in or close in your viewer is. I'm gonna get this darkened. I want to get that darkened, but first, get a little bit of color here. Yeah, you see how it wipes it off? That's fine, because it's loaded with oil. You can actually use it. You can use it quite nicely. So you can use it nicely to create the idea of grass, or just some type of movement or something. Yeah, I had it darker there. I don't like it now, definitely. I'm gonna darken it up a bit. Yeah, this is definitely gonna go down. There's a here, so I'm just trying to move that away. I liked it better when we played with a bigger brush. So let's play with a bigger brush. Let's just load up a bunch of it and see. And we don't want unity, and we don't want similar movements, although those can sometimes get us what we want. We want to move the brush up and down, Just want to make it do the job for us. And you know, sometimes it's totally fine to balance things. It's totally fine to have two equal sections. It's perspective, you know. I can go into that in one of my videos. So I'm just gonna take a smaller brush and I'm gonna gently make the grass a little more messy. Just small movements in the distance. It definitely annoys me that there's like no darker line here. So I'm definitely gonna have to do something about that, which I'm gonna do in a minute. Now we want to put on darker spaces. Just want to get it. And the good news is that you can work on this for days, although it's really not necessary. So just gonna give it a little bit of shadow and a little bit more flow. And like we said, there's no black. So we do what we have to do. I'm gonna add a little bit of green and a bit more red. And we're gonna vary a little. Now, it's in the distance, so we can slightly blur it. Let me just step away and take a look. And let me just clean up the oils from the top because I can see them sliding down. Maybe I blend a few more stuff. Yeah, maybe I give it blend some sections. Let's see what it does for me. I think the sky is gonna overpower the painting overall if I leave it as is. So I'm just gonna, yeah, I think I'll definitely blend. It's patterned enough, I would say. Yep. So just gently move it away. And ideally, I think I'm gonna go grab a new brush completely. I don't have a completely new brush that's fan, so I'm just gonna have to use this one. It's super small. Yeah, whatever happens, happens. Let's see, that's gonna take a lot of time, but that's okay. So I can barely feel it touch the canvas, which is good. It's gonna, you can vary a little. Oil is gonna show your movements, you know? Oil is gonna do that for you. Just gonna raise this up a bit. Okay. Let's see. There's a hair here, which I should take off. Okay. Slides here. Yep. It's about time I finish. It's gonna slide down all over the place. Oil is leaking, so. Now, usually what you would want to do is have light be the thickest part. I'm not gonna do it now because I like it the way it is, but light should be the thickest part because the thickness of the color kind of cheats your eye to think it's brighter of sorts. So, just see. I think this is it. I don't think I'm gonna add any more trees. I do want that black there. Not black, but I just want a thin line. I just want to accentuate that it's water. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let's see if this stays. Okay. You kind of do have to shape the water. Okay. Just gonna go ahead. So since it's abstract, we can basically do what we want. And it doesn't have to mean anything extra. I am gonna go in with this one again, hoping that it's gonna give me what I want again. So maybe if I go from the top, it's gonna do it. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. That looks good now. I'm just gonna vary a bit. And vary the way the grass goes too. So it's not always gonna go in one direction, you know? Oh my god. I wanted to set, but. So now we want to have it kind of mirrored in the water. So let's just drop the brush lightly, if we can, and then we're gonna blend. Just need it a little darker, just a little bit. Just a shadow. Just a little shadow. Now I usually get tangled up with these details in my more kind of realistic pieces. I honestly don't want to do it, but it's gonna go nice here. It's gonna go nice. Okay, and now we're just gonna slightly drop it down. This is too big of a brush for this, so maybe I'm gonna use, let me use this, let's see. Yeah. So I'm just gonna drag it down. Okay. The closer it is, the higher the contrast is gonna be. So I'm just gonna line it up like this. Okay. Yep, that illusion is better now. Let me take a look from a distance. Yeah, we're gonna leave the tree as is. Just add a little bit more layers. Add a little bit of red. Now we don't want to overdo it, so let's just add some contrast. Let's kind of wipe that off. A little bit of green. For variety. And let's get the lower section darker. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and paint the edges now. Just like that. So I'm not gonna be able to grab onto this soon. So I am gonna show it tonight. I'm gonna reveal it, but the 3D canvas is often a mess to move. I'm just gonna paint it just a little bit. And that's it. I am off to show it. It's gonna be shit for some. Some are gonna love it. That's art for you. You shouldn't give a fuck. If you like it, that's it. Oh my god. Smart people probably do this before, and they do it in acrylics. I don't want to mix the edges of the canvas with oil and acrylics, so I'm just gonna have to do it like this and wait for it to dry a little. Let's just blend, because it requires additional blending. Now, it's good actually. I don't usually spend this amount of paint, which tells me I did a good job at finally learning how much paint I should put on my palette. So yeah, that's a win for me. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, if you're gonna frame it, it doesn't necessarily have to be like fully the same as it is on the painting. I just wanted to have like a little bit of visual support once it gets framed, because the edges are still going to be a little visible. We're gonna fix that in a minute. Let's see what it does. Okay, so the lower section is the easiest to paint. I'm just gonna blend, and that's it. Just gonna blend that up a little. Let me show her to you while I can still take the frame in my hands. Okay. There it is. That's it. It's gonna have a glare, and it's gonna cure for, I don't know, maybe a month, and then prints are gonna be available. So that's it. Thank you for watching.